Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Co-chairs, His Excellency Sheikh Hamad bin Jassim, Prime Minister of the State of Qatar, and the Honorable Lawrence Cannon, Foreign Minister of Canada. I'm delighted to be here today, Madam Secretary, really delighted to be with you on a panel again since the Manama Dialogue. This is the last stop after a marathon for you in the Middle East, and that was also a last stop after a Central Asian sub-zero tour to come to the warm weather of the Gulf. So delighted to be with you and to my other colleagues, Mr. Al-Jershi and Mr. Al-Masri. I'm really delighted to be here in such distinguished company, and I look forward to an open and constructive discussion on how we can advance and develop the partnership between governments and civil society in the BIMENA region. I greatly appreciate the work of the civil society partners from the region, and in particular the detailed discussion that took place at the regional preparatory workshops and national seminars. The outcomes of these sessions demonstrate the seriousness with which civil society is engaging in this process. And on behalf of the BIMENA governments, I want to underline that we too are committed to an ongoing, open, and productive dialogue. Without question, genuine engagement and partnership with civil society across the region is essential to our progress. In this context, the civil society recommendations from November's meeting in Ottawa are helpful in shaping how we work together moving forward. They reflect the principles underlying our dialogue and the desire of civil society to participate actively and constructively in this process. Underlying these recommendations, I believe, is the recognition that it is essential for BIMENA countries to engage all parts of society in the development process, and to harness the energies and talents of every citizen in advancing both personal and national interests. This is a recognition that is fully shared by BIMENA governments and are, for example, core pillars of my country's development strategy. Since 2001, our non-governmental sector has seen dramatic growth. And in particular, since 2006, the number of civil society groups has grown from 275 to over 526, including some 50 trade unions, an increase of 36% in just over 4 years. And we have with us here attending this forum from Bahrain, the Bahrain Human Rights Society, the Bahrain's Women's Association, the Bahrain's Women's Union, and the Bahrain's Transparency Society. The government provides technical, financial, and logistical support to the NGO sector in cooperation with international organizations such as the United Nations Development Programme, and including measures to build the capacity of civil society organizations through training programs, workshops, and advice and assistance in applying for grants. We have also set up an NGO fund to provide grants for social partnership, which engage third-party private funding for development projects. Fund members include the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry, national banks and companies, and the Ministry of Social Development. In 2010, some 56 NGOs benefited from funding for social partnership schemes. This flourishing of civil society has been underpinned by the guarantees in Bahrain's constitution and laws of rights such as the freedom of assembly, freedom to demonstrate, and the freedom to open public expression and debate. And these guarantees have also ensured the continued progress and consolidation of our democracy and democratic institutions, enabling political institutions to hold political meetings, campaign for public support, select candidates, and act as parliamentary blocs. Furthermore, we are committed to freedom of expression, but we recognize also the potential the harm that inflammatory information can have on inciting divisions between people and disrupting social harmony. It is important that this fundamental right is exercised constructively and responsibly. So the democratic process is continuing its progress in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and we are committed to strengthening this development, upholding the rule of law, and working towards the goals and principles of our Economic Vision 2030 as a means of providing a sustainable, competitive and fair future for Bahrain and all its citizens. I want to meditate on the rule of law and our commitment to it. The rule of law helps the democratic process thrive. It protects and promotes not only the rights of the individual, but also the participation of civil society. If civil society feels that the law needs to be reformed, then the democratic process will ensure that proper avenues exist for such reforms to be publicly debated, discussed, and effected. I can assure everyone here today and all of those who have participated in the G8 BIMENA process that the governments of this region want to work toward practical and achievable outcomes that give effect to these principles. We therefore welcome the civil society recommendations as a basis for serious and constructive discussions, with a view to reaching a consensus on how we can move forward in practical terms and strengthen the ongoing dialogue and cooperation between governments and civil society. What is apparent is that we must invest in our youth. Demographically, we are a young region, and therefore it is today's young people who are the key to our prosperous future. We must continue to invest in progressive education and provide jobs opportunities through programs of economic diversification and expansion. Speaking personally, I'm particularly interested in how governments and NGOs can work together to support and promote science, technology, and innovation, and to foster a culture of entrepreneurship and enterprise. Economic growth and development has to be the foundation of our region's future progress, without which other developments will be unsustainable. I'm optimistic that greater inter-regional cooperation, both between governments and with the civil society, can be coupled with initiatives for projects with the G8 countries to promote an indigenous and self-sufficient culture of innovation and enterprise that can power the region forward in the years ahead. In conclusion, I look forward to open and productive discussions both today and in the future, and want to underline once again the commitment and good faith of the BIMENA governments